me grounding plates. But I'll tell you, with Jack, what Jack did sent enough energies through me, and I saw ancient civilization sending people in to share in the joy and the fact that we are carrying the message of what it is to be Christ-like energy to the world. And we're using our talents, and we're just exactly right where we are. And it is so beautiful. The chicken helped ground me. I tell you, our world is changing. I did a talk, and my beautiful daughter came over, and she's the best editor you ever saw. She's as good as Pete ever was. My husband, who also used to edit my stuff to be sure everything followed right. But at any rate, I called and told her it wasn't necessary for her to come today because she knew what it was going to be all about. Well, there have been a few changes. When I tell you the world is changing, it really is changing, and it reminded me of a joke. When I was going to a church when I was about first grade or whatever, second, third, it was very common for them to get out the old hymnal and sing "Gladly the cross-eyed bear, gladly the cross-eyed bear." Little boy who loved to go to church with his mother said, when the choir got up and started to sing "Gladly the cross-eyed bear," he leaned over and said, "Mom, why are they singing about a gladly cross-eyed bear? Why don't they just go find the bear and take him to see a doctor?" Well, we don't hear much of "Gladly the cross-eyed bear" anymore. That came from Bulwer Lytton's book when he wrote, Bulwer Lytton was a writer in the 18th century whose first paragraphs were about, first sentences were a paragraph long and had lots of different ideas in it. Well, they've had a contest running for a number of years, and they wrote a book, and it was based on Bulwer Lytton's ideas, but it had a kick to it. Anyway, okay, choosing loving power. The whole world is changing because of the energy connected with the Aquarian new age that we, as human beings, are helping to birth. We are coming into the reality that we really are carriers of the Christ energy, that wonderful energy that was taught throughout the ages by enlightened souls, that if you want peace in the world, and you want joy, and you want happiness, you do it through a Christ-like love. And that is the basis for all of this Aquarian energy that we are experiencing in today's world. That energy is calling up in all of us an intensified sense of the light we carry. And it doesn't tell us how to show it, because we're unique carriers of all this power. But we're beginning to discover what it means to have it. And it's opening new dimensions in our consciousness that we didn't even know we had. I wanted to tell you something about the consciousness being quickened through us. We really are holy beings. We really are here it is. We really are a definition of divinity in a human body. And so when you look in the dictionary, it says, oh, well, that's connected with religions and ideas and so on. But there is a definition of divinity that was passed down through the Dead Sea Scrolls that really hasn't been released for the general public. And that is that means, divinity in you means We are able to be in this world. We are able to transcend our limitations and be here in this world. Well, everything in life is about choice, and I want to thank Jack and Sharon and all of you for being here today. You came here because you had choice to make. You could have stayed home, but you chose to come. And the energies we bring here today are all magnified because we come together as a unit, and the energies that we're spreading out around each other, we're sharing each other's energies and we're learning from one another. But this is also all going out into the collective mind in the New Age body. And the New Age body we're helping to birth in this world by what we do and what we think and what we create in our own worlds. We have a collective power in this new world that is being birthed now, and we're part of the process. Now, we're each an expression of individually expressing light, this Christ light energy, and how we express it isn't anybody else's business. It's unique to us and how we are moved inside. What do you love to do? What do you like to do? What do you want to do? That reminds me of Jack when years ago he came to class and he was just finding himself as a chanter. He worked in construction work for a long time to keep the pot boiling so that he could develop his love as chanting and being a reflection of the energies he was born with in his computer plan. We're born with a pattern that is unique to us, and it's soul energy. But what I always saw spirit coming down and taking and ensouling energy from this collective mind that you've been part of, and then marking it as a part of your body when you manifest in the world. And so we're trying to find out where we are in this scheme of things, and how can we be ourselves? Well, you don't have to be anything else. You don't have to have anybody's approval. You don't have to have anybody's job. What it means is, if you want to bake a cake and it makes you happy, if you want to build a house and it makes you happy, if you want to invent something, it makes you happy. If you want to just go out and dance and sing, maybe have a beer, and it makes you happy, do it, you know? Because when you're enjoying life and you're giving it physical expression through your body, that's the energy you're sending out into the world that helps to heal and raise this wonderful collective mind that is being nurtured and brought into form here in the new world. Well, I'll tell you this, we're in a room full of individuals who are focused and doing what they want to do and what they love to do. Aren't we fortunate? Okay. When I mentioned in class that the whole world is changing from these energies, just like we're changing, one of the girls in class said, you know, my sister came to class with me one night. She's back in Washington now, and she said, we were talking on the phone, and I told her, you said the world is changing. I told her the world was changing, and she said, it is not. And I thought to myself, I wonder what she's reading. But, you know, there are things going around now. There's a new continent rising off the coast of Chile, and they believe it to be the continent of Blue. And further out, there is Lemuria, which is connected with the Hawaiian Island. It's beginning to surface. And there was a big ice block the size of Chicago that slipped off down in Antarctica, and they found a whole new system of life growing down there. It was so wonderful, a whole new ecological system that we didn't know anything about. And of course, I think I mentioned in a talk before, many moons ago, about the fish, freshwater fish living in the middle of the ocean off of Iceland. Well, how can you catch freshwater fish in an ocean of salt? Well, it's coming up from the center of the earth itself, this water that's been here on the earth for billions of years, brought in by asteroids that had frozen crystals on it, and they melted and the water came. Anyway, everything has water. That water purified, and it's beginning to surface now as being available and uncontaminated for human beings. Now, do you think the world's changed? Ah, yes. If you're aware and you can see it, you can see the lights coming on. We have a choice. We're learning that when we're centered and focused on what we want to have in the world, that's what we're creating. But when we get caught up in all the old garbage that's gone before, we become scattered, and our energy does not have the force when you're resting in your own I am and expressing it in your daily life. So it's a matter of choice. And if you're going to keep the old system going, well, you feed it with anger and fear, disappointment, jealousy. It doesn't matter. Anything that isn't of a loving nature to create and form the things that make your life happy and meaning. Don't waste your time thinking about it. There is a parallel story, or a story, I think, that very well, it's an analog story about the caterpillar and the butterfly. And you may have already heard it, but I'm going to repeat it because I hadn't heard how it happened. I knew that caterpillars crawled around the earth, and then they came out of a cocoon and they could fly around and see the world in a freed spirit. And it was beautiful. Okay, so here's the story. The caterpillar really does have two sets of eggs in it. It has caterpillar eggs and butterfly eggs. And what happens at a certain point in the the caterpillar's life, after it's been crawling around on the world and just making do with what it could, it isn't that it isn't beautiful in its own way, but it has so many limitations. And so at some point in time, the butterfly eggs are quickened, and the caterpillar said, oh my gosh, I'm being attacked. I've got an outside force that's after me. And so it starts to eat the butterfly eggs. But the butterfly eggs just keep coming faster and faster, and it gluts itself on butterfly eggs, and pretty soon it just gives up and dies. And when the time is right, the butterfly in its form comes out and flies away. Now, in our world, we're seeing a dissolution of the old world because it can't survive in these new energies because they're so high. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get up feeling dizzy and I have to stop and focus and center. It's because the energies are coming in so fast and so strong now that sometimes our physical body just takes a little time to adjust to it. Sometimes I can go all night and all day without any problems at all with being tired. And then there's sometimes when I just want to sleep and lay around all day and veg out. But it's my adjusting this physical vehicle to the energies that are coming in and making this body and me realize how much it really is and what its creative powers involve. I want to share with you one story. And it's why I'm here today, really. It was a good lesson for me. When the children were killed in that flood in Texas, I didn't listen to it on the news, I didn't see it anywhere, but I saw it in a vision. And I could see these little children frightened and crying, I want my mama, I want to go home. And it was so touching to me, and the empathy I had, I was on the verge of going down into a deep state of depression because of what I was seeing. And this voice inside of me said, that's not what you're here for. So I went back, found my peace center, and then I saw this big clear crystal globe come down, and it surrounded these children, and it started to raise them up, and they had grass, this beautiful green grass under their feet, and it went up higher, and these children couldn't believe what they were feeling. All of that fearful energy just disappeared, and they were in all of this loving energy with the light and the joy, and it like they opened their eyes and they began to see dimensions of themselves that they had never had or experienced before. Now, then that vision left, but I know that those children cannot go back and visit with their parents yet. They cannot do that because the parents are so deep in their own grief, the children might get trapped and not be able to go back where they were when they were feeling so joyous for just being. I know that those parents will begin to say, well, my child's in heaven, and oh, having such a good time. And I don't have a right to keep her trapped here in my heart that way. I'll release her, and I'll always remember, and I will release her to her joy in heaven, and I'll try to help her experience that with it. Well, when that happens, those children that were trapped and brought forth and are in the new world can come back to their parents, and they can say what it's like to be where they are. And that's a renewal process, and the lights will go up, and the parents, that Christ light energy will have another dimension to it because of that experience. I always wondered how the Dalai Lama, with his compassionate heart, could go around and see these poor people who had been kicked out of their countries and living in makeshift shacks and all. I wondered how he could go into those places without coming out depressed. And now I know his center of peace is so strong, and his light is so loving, that when he goes to these villages and he sees these people, he doesn't go down into their misery. He raises them up to the joy he carries because he's focused and centered in his own greatness. Now, you all have a greatness about you. The more you can stay focused in that and loving and caring, the happier life's going to be and the better off the world will be. You won't be scattering your energies, because the more you scatter your energies, the more power this collective old world mindset is able to hang on and grow. Now, the old world, it wasn't that the energies were bad or evil or anything of the kind. It was the collective mind content that shaped the world that they were living in and that we've lived in for centuries. And by keeping everybody scattered and held in fear, they were able to maintain their power and do what they wanted. But now the earth is saying no more. Now the energies have changed, and they're stimulating in the masses this beautiful desire to serve one another and to bring peace into the world. And that's where we are. I want you to know that your expanded energies include all the spirits from outer space. They are living human bodies, and sometimes they manifest looking just like somebody here. They're spirits that simply moved into another dimension and not died. Their vibration has changed. But they have every way of communicating with you. And when you're focused on something you want to manifest, it's like turning on a magnet in the divine intelligence you embody. And it gathers together all the things that you could need to help it materialize in your life. And I think that's wonderful, because you find out. I mean, today I saw the ancients from many cultures coming to hear Jack. I saw the place full of spirits today coming to share in the joy of the light that we share. Anyway, I remember Reverend Miller when he was here, and he's why I stayed with the church. He was such a beautiful light, and he had a guy named Tall Pine. I think we have a picture of him, Tall Pine out there. But every week on a Tuesday, he would come, and he would issue 33 tickets, and people came early to get them because he was going to give them messages from the people they loved who have died. And everybody there got a message from their relative who was in spirit. Now, if you can imagine how many beautiful lights and intelligent souls there are in this collective unity and spirit, in this great divine, infinite, intelligent mind, you can see the power that you have that'll come and work through you to help you fulfill your goals in this world. So you like to scrub floors. So you want to bake a cake. So you want to bake a recipe. Bake the recipe. Say you want to grow flowers, or you want to know about plants. Do the things that are important to you. Well, I like my grandkids, Go love your grandkids. It doesn't matter how you express this energy. I mean, we have a black belt man here at our church now. Yeah, right there, he got his black belt. And I know that black belt is a focusing of power and energy along with a form of ethics. That means he will meet his needs always from the standpoint of love and wisdom. He will use them for the very best. Sometimes we think that we're going to be called upon to use our anger. Maybe we want to march. You should march if you're inclined to march. You should go into politics if you want to see in politics. You should do what you can do, what you think from inside yourself would help society. But you always remember, you can't do it with any hate or fear or anger or sense of revenge, because you're feeding what you're trying to defeat. But if you can go in with a balanced sense of love, then you will hear from your own intuition and your guides the best way to look at that might be a possible solution for the problem. So one doesn't work, you can do another one, because it's all there. And just like the man who developed the Xerox machine, he had all these spirits, and he couldn't figure out how to make it work. When one morning this voice said, well, why don't you try heat? So he tried heat, and the Xerox machine worked. So they come and give you insights that you're going to need, and they are called together by your desire that's focused for a goal. Anyway, that's how I see it. I'd like to just close now. Oh, by the way, some people are fully enlightened and carrying the light and don't even know it. You've met people like that. You don't. I know someone, met him, 72 years old. He details cars all day long. Now, that's tough work for a guy 72, but it permits him to enjoy his family. It permits him to fish. It permits him a lot of things. He's from a loving family. He can visit with all of his relatives. And when you see him, he just radiates this light. He's not consciously aware of it, but wherever he goes, he brings a blessing. So you see, you don't know. If you're born with it, it doesn't take as much effort to be a loving form in the world. Okay. I was told that this church has been a portal ever since it became a spiritualist church in the 50s. It has been an inlet and an outlet for spirit. And now I have seen many, many, many people who've helped to establish this come and sit and hear the services, get from it what they want, and they go out. Maybe they don't listen for the whole thing. Maybe they just come to see the joy that we generate. It doesn't matter. But I know this church is a portal for this Christ-light energy into our world. And this world is the whole world. And so Spirit says, your life, you want it to express joy and peace. It says, be yourself. Enjoy being you. Love, laugh, be happy. Amen. And we believe in the infinite intelligence that guides this process of birthing this new earth, and that it also guides and protects us in our own development, bringing to us the teachers that we are going to, and if you have an inclination to find it in yourself and you're led somewhere else, that's fine too. There aren't any definitions about how you're going. Infinite intelligence with the line you embody. Thanks. Thank you, each and every one. God blesses us all, each and every one. That sounds like Tiny Tim.